So yeah, so I'm in the house last night, right? I'm trying to get the clean version of Game Time together. I asked Tho to make. Well, Tho asked me for a clean version. I told him I don't do that. I rap dirty. And so, although I will say there's actually a version of Riding Dirty called Riding Clean, where we went in and re-rapped the whole album clean.
I have that album. I can't find it now.
I know for a fact DJs got it, but very few people can find it.
Yeah.
But it was something that we made just for DJs. But anyway, so I hit Tho like, yo, did you make the clean version? Because Tho was like, yo, I need a clean version of this to play on Sunday. And because I had just put it out Friday. And I was like, well, you might need to get on it. Because I ain't got no clean version. So I hit him yesterday to see if he had a clean version because I had to come and talk to y'all. He's like, no, man, I had to go to Dallas. I had to do this, and I ain't get it done yet. I said, great. Well, I'm going to just go in and just rap it clean. Because I was at home, and I was like, Tho, she was like, what's wrong with the clean version? I said, well, Tho ain't made it yet. He still got to do it. I don't like that. I'm sorry.
That's the wifey.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like when they do all the beeping and the stuff on the song. Just go back in there and just do it over. I say, yeah, I mean, nothing wrong. It's only 2.5 minutes of straight rapping all the way through with no chorus.
This sound like you complaining in like a
and yeah, of course,
roundabout way to get in the argument without saying
and everything.
directly.
Yeah, and everything rhyme with the MF word. That'll be easy to switch out. Everything rhyme with BS.
Don't get
That'll
off
be
your
easy to
chest,
switch
man.
out. All that old kind of stuff. Yeah, sure, no problem. We'll go do it. And
So you did it.
well, I mean, my wife made a suggestion.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, it was done. When you
That's the way it goes.
Maybe she should have been the record company years ago.
Uh-oh.
yeah, maybe she should have been a record company.
Uh-oh.
And then I would have been a lot older. Now, I would have been, because the foot is on my neck. Like, I don't get no. It just do that.
So what do you think she's supposed to do in her role as executive? Her job is to get it done by any means necessary. You're not husband now. You're artist Bun B. You're not husband, and her job is to get it done.
Her last name is Freeman, not Knight.
Oh. All right, now remember.
I don't need her sugar.
This
I don't need her sugar to be in the studio.
Listen.
I was trying to go to bed. I was trying to go to
bed.
bed, and like I said, it was a suggestion. If one of those offers you can't refuse, you know what I'm saying? I think you should do this. And if I say, man, I ain't finna do that, then I got to worry about what she ain't finna do. And
right, well, you don't want to worry about that.
Sir. I need her to be ready to finna do all that good stuff. So if we got to go to the studio, we're going to go.
That's right.
If she wanted me to come here and talk, I'm going to talk.
Well, here you are now talking about a new project.
Right.
I didn't expect a new project, I guess, so soon. I thought
it's been 4 years.
It doesn't seem like that.
4 years.
It doesn't seem like that.
Album was songs that were left over from the album that came out, I think, 2 years before that one. So this is really
corrected, I guess.
So as far as the studio album, it's at least 4 or 5 years. Since
okay.
my last
Well, here's the better
album.
question then. Why so long?
If you look at the history of UGK projects, there's always been a 2 to 3 year difference in between the projects. And a lot of that was arguing with the record company, but a lot of that was also living life, having experiences and being able to put that in the record, which gave us a deeper connection to people. Over these last couple of years, I've experienced everything you could possibly experience. Great times, bad times, ups, downs. I've had where everything in my life was going great, and I've also had where everything in my life was upside down. So being in this place now and having a different appreciation of life, of my station in life, of the people around me, and also in a position to make music on the terms that I want to, I was just like, you know what, this is a great time to make music. And I feel like the people that I speak to aren't necessarily being spoken to right now.
Who are those people?
People over like 35, I think. It's just hip hop by nature is a young man sport, and the younger people are always going to outnumber the older people. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a place for an older entertainer in the music industry. And I think as long as I'm not trying to do what 20-year-old people are doing right now, I should be okay.
Yeah, but those same 20-year-olds, they're still buying Bun B product.
Well, they're buying music.
And the guy
right? But
35
they're
pluses as well.
They're buying music, but they get the music a different way, and it's appreciated a different way. The people that are 35 and older that listen to me were introduced to me in their prime, like when they were wide open about learning about the world in general.
Yeah.
That's when they were introduced to me.
Yeah.
And for some younger people, that may be the case, right? But we came up in an age of hand-to-hand, word-of-mouth kind of thing. So a lot of people learn about UGK from their home, like, yo, you ever heard of these dudes? These dudes are jamming. That's kind of how they heard it. And it's just a different level of connection that we made. Now, the reality of this, it doesn't really come down to the recording and releasing of the music. It's about the performances, right? So the issue comes up where, say, for example, I'm 44 years old, right? Mm-hmm. But if I decide I want to do a show in, let's say, Warehouse Live, then that's the same venue I performed in when I was 34 years old. Mm-hmm. If I decide I want to go to Carrington's and do a show, then that's a venue I performed in when I was 20 years ago, right? Now, the problem is you go into these venues that you've been in before at younger ages, and you've had a level of appreciation, right? When you're 20 and you go into a room full of 20-year-olds, they're going to scream like they're supposed to, right? When you're 30 and you walk into a room of 20-year-olds, it's a little different. And when you're 40, it's a lot different, right? And the problem is that we go into these same venues, and the fans are still the same age, but we're not, right? So we want the same reception from the people in that room that we've always had. And that doesn't always end up being the case. You know what I'm saying?
So
but there's nothing wrong with
uncomfortable.
that.
Okay. Your audience has grown. They've gotten older.
And you can't. So a lot of the places that you used to go for this admiration or this appreciation isn't where you should be going now.
So where should you be going now?
You should be going where your fan base is.
Where they at, bud?
Probably at the Red Roots or something. No, but they're at lounges. You know what I'm saying? They're at Swagger. They're at D-Ball. They're, you know.
But you can still go to Warehouse. All these places that you just talked about that you did when you were those ages, those are places you can still go to now and so, shut it down.
So here's the
still have a crowd of people still sell out in the whole night.
But again, everybody's not going to get that, right? And I don't get that every day, all day, right? There are rooms that I go into where younger artists are appreciated more than I am, and that's just the reality of it. And it's got nothing to do with the people in the room or the youngest artists. It's just how the dynamic is.
Well, let me ask you this, Bun. And so how are you, being the elder statesman of hip hop now, how are you adapting to the changes in hip hop? Being, like you said, you are, you think it's a young man's game, but I'm still seeing a lot of the older players still playing the game, and they playing it at a big level.
Yeah, that's because we have more access than younger artists do, and we've been around longer, so we know more people, and we can move in those circles easily than a 20-year-old. But that's just from proximity and from familiarity, right? Okay. That's really all the difference is. The reality is that your fans are still out there, right? The people that were rocking with you when you were 20, they're still out there, but they're busy like you. They're in a different place in life, so they don't necessarily have the time to go to Warehouse Live or House of Blues or all those places where you normally go. That doesn't mean that if you let them know you're coming, they won't come.
So how do you create an experience for them now? Because like you said, their life is busy now. They got the kids.
We just did it. I just did it for a year and a half. We just did a Legends of Southern Hip Hop tour for like a year and a half, and went back and forth around the country and created spaces where people who were fans of us knew where we were going to be, and they came by the numbers. They filled up every venue, They buy merch. They buy all that stuff. You just got to give them a little bit of time to get a babysitter and to save some money. It's the same time that a young person got to take to try to earn the money or convince their parents to buy it for them. It's the same time.
Now, again, have you adapted well to the changes as you become an elder statesman of the hip-hop game?
So I'm blessed because I'm in a different place, right? Because of the fact that I realized the trends were shifting and that I wasn't always going to be the top guy and that I don't have an ego that bothers me and that type of thing, I embraced the next generation of artists. So by embracing them and ended up on their projects, their fans got to know me right around the time they got to know them, right? So in the midst of people buying Drake's first album and getting to know Drake for the first time, I'm right there. You know what I'm saying? Rick Ross and Lil Wayne, all these different people. The first time you're getting to know these artists, I'm right there. Now, my generation tends to do it backwards, right? We want to go get Future. We want to go get Migos and all these people and put them on our records, right? So that we can, quote, get their fans. But that's not how that works. Because the fans just going to go and listen to that song for that moment from those artists. And if their anticipation is of them over you anyway, then you're
lost
probably not going to win them over just in that moment.
So you
Especially
think that-
if you're not a peer to that person.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
So you think it would be better to?
If not better too, the reality is that the only way that you get a deeper connection with a younger fan base is by appearing on a younger artist's album. It doesn't work the other way around. And that goes for anybody that think they can just go buy a feature and that they're going to automatically, everybody that
Now,
loves
have
that
you and
person
the
going to
elder
love them.
statesman in hip hop talked about this and discussed this, or this is just this is Bun B theory?
This is just the way I've seen it based on how long I've been around and kind of looking at the game. Very few people are going to talk about this because we're all incredibly insecure about our station in life.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
when usually when people get around each other, they be like, what's going on? Man, I'm good, just grinding it out. But that's not true. Most of us, if not all of us, have issues. You know what I'm saying? And they're usually surrounded around money and family. Even people I know that got money issues. If that makes any sense.
No, I feel you. I feel you. So what's going to be different about this album now that we have this Bun B comfortable at this time in his life? What's this album bringing different to the table that he hadn't brought on his other solo projects or even the UGK project?
Because I wasn't in life where I was then where I am now. So I'm consistently learning, I'm consistently evolving, I'm consistently going through stuff. And the more you go through, the closer you get to finding out who you really are. See, I thought I knew who I was when I was 18. I'm trail this and all that. I wasn't really, I had no idea. As I got older, I'm consistently thinking I've gotten this figured out. I know who I am, and this is the best of me. And I've been proven wrong every birthday. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the reality. Like, look, this is never going to be a perfect situation. You ain't going to never have all the money you need. You know what I'm saying? Your wife or your husband ain't going to always be happy with you. Your kids will not always do what you want them to do. Your job, all these different things, none of these things are always going to work out like you want them to work out. But guess what? It ain't working out like that for nobody else. So ain't no sense in feeling sorry for yourself and looking at other people thinking they got it better. All they do is lie better than you.
So are you preaching on this album?
I'm not preaching on this album because I didn't say I'm not gonna do that and be like, can I get an amen?
Right.
But no, I'm telling the truth on this album.
But all your records, you've been honest and truthful. So
yeah, I'm being honest about situations. I'm being honest about scenarios. I'm being honest about if you doing this, right? Then if you do it like this, you might be okay. But if you don't, and you do it like this, you're gonna have problems. And that's relationship, money, hustling, music, all of that stuff, right? Trying to help people avoid the pitfalls of life, right? But never really talking about how we learn to avoid pitfalls, which is by going through pitfalls and coming out of them. So this album is really not just, because it's very easy to be like, yo, I know life is crazy and it doesn't go like this, but you'll be okay if you know what I'm saying. The reality is that now I have to be in a place where I can tell people, look, life is not always good for me, right? Because otherwise, I'm just I'm leaving room for people to assume or kind of. This is about the reality of being. Look, like life is not always good for me, right? And I know that people look to me for direction in life based on their station, i.e., I'm an artist that's been doing this for 25 years, so an artist from 15 years may look at me and be like, man, I want to get to where that is, but this is where I'm at and this is what I'm going through. And the guys younger than that even more so. So if I'm going through it, right, personally, professionally, spiritually, if I'm going through it, and I have, by all, from the outside looking in, the best opportunity to lead a happy, successful, productive life, right? If I'm going through it, then what the hell are they going through?
Right.
People that don't have those opportunities, don't have as easy a lane. So it's about being honest about, look, it's not always as good for Bun B as you think it is. You know what I'm saying?
So is it a themed album? Is it a concept album?
Well, the album's next year, right? We're going to come with the album next year because there's still a couple of things I'm trying to flesh out. And I want to make sure that I'm being as honest, as introspective as I can on this record, right? Without being hypocritical at the same time. Because
Is that going to be possible? Because I think at the core of all of us, we are hypocrites.
That's where That's where Miss Freeman Records comes in.
Okay. Miss Freeman.
No, because she's right there with every rhyme. You know what she's always been. She's always been there.
You let her judge all your music like that?
I don't let her judge my music. We just went through this 2 days ago.
So her part is what? Then? She doesn't.
Her
judge
part is to
you.
listen to what I'm saying, to the content, right? She can't tell me nothing about delivery, right?
Okay, that's.
I go in on the verse. She can't tell me nothing about that, right? But having listened to everything we've done before, she's making sure, like, for example, I wanted to work on a song about acting age appropriate, right? And she was like, okay, your first verse is perfect. That makes sense. The second verse, you have to be careful, like, about trying to say that people don't need to be the old person in the club because you be the old person in the club sometimes.
Oops.
Right? And that's a reality. And maybe
Right.
it's just because I'm performing, but that's still a reality.
That's right.
Right? So, be hypocritical.
Like you attacking. You're not.
Yeah,
trying to
no. And that's the thing, right? This record is not meant for me to stand on a pedestal, right? Or to stand on a soapbox and point my finger at people and tell them, I'm not going to be Bill Cosby telling people to pull their pants up and then pulling people pants down
Oh man.
on the other side. You feel what I'm saying?
Go on, put it out there then.
So that's where I refer to her as my muse for this album.
Is she your
She's
biggest,
the inspiration.
the biggest fan? You think?
No, not her. Who? Huh?
Yeah.
I'm not even her favorite rapper.
Really?
No, but I'm her husband, and she wants to protect me. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? So that goes deeper than
Okay,
that.
okay, all right.
And this is very contentious because I'm working on my new album, and Jay-Z's album is out, and Jay-Z's her favorite rapper. So this is a very contentious time for this thing.
Oh yeah, little touch in the household.
But she's not telling me it's not like Jay-Z like, oh, you need to do that right now. Like we're doing what we're doing.
So how did you find out she wasn't your favorite rapper?
She told me.
Really?
that don't hurt a little bit.
What do you mean?
Hurt. It don't hurt. When
About-
your wife say, you know you're not my favorite rapper. You cool though. You cool. You done did some things. You, the UGK thing, your solo, you done did some things. But you know
I
you're not.
I thought you was more grown than that. My job is to be her favorite man.
There it is. There it is.
Boy, you know what to say.
You know what I'm
boy.
saying?
You know what to say.
What good is it to be her first, her favorite rapper, and only her third or fourth favorite person?
Of
This
course
is
you
why-
want to be that. Of
This is
course.
why-
Of course.
What you mean? Of course.
Of
You
course.
ain't married,
Hold up.
boy. You don't know about no other. Always be your white favorite person.
Hold on. Of
I
course.
got a call. Kiki is your favorite rapper?
Yes, always have
Oh!
That just put me down another notch. But like this morning, I had to go do sports radio before I came here. And I'm like 20 minutes into the interview and my phone go off and I had to step out of the room. She's like, you left all the lights on in this house where you left. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with, like, I still get the business. I'm not always going to be her favorite person, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing because it's
honest,
important for me to
I want
always
you to
work
be
towards
honest.
it.
That it doesn't hurt a little bit when she says this person is my favorite.
Not at all.
Okay, so do you try to move up that list though?
No, I'm cold, and I'm good. I know how cold I am. If she don't know how cold I am on the
That's her
mic,
problem.
that's her problem.
Really?
Yeah, because she look, she
Come
know
on,
me.
Bun. That's your wife. You've been with her for a good long time.
Right. And after 20,
You want? Don't you
and
want?
after
You want
20
to be number one in every category.
Let me explain something to you, Hatta. First of all, there is no stereo in my house. So we ain't even playing music like that. So music is not, our house is not built around Bun B. Right? My house is built around family. My house is built around everything that you don't see. That's what it's about. This music being played on the radio, whatever, that she knows it's important for other people to be Bun B fans because that's who paid the bills. Her being my number one fan ain't gonna pay no bills because she's still not gonna buy no music. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, I don't have an ego like that. I'm good with that because Jay-Z don't get to go home with that at night.
Okay.
Ooh,
Wow.
boy.
That boy is a poet.
It ain't that. I know.
You knew that boy was prolific before he sat over here. He know what to say. That's what he do. This is his job. This what he do, man.
And I'm sure everybody look at Jay-Z and say, man, I would love to go home, but that's because they don't have what I have. So, I mean, obviously.
Oh, work up that ladder. He got at least
Hey,
be number
no,
two.
he trying to get- you know
That's
what
at
he-
least number two right there. He got to be leaf number 2 with that.
He trying to make sure he get an
Number one
advance.
as a husband.
Oh,
That's all looking at.
okay.
Because I want to be with this woman way longer than I am a rapper. Like my life is gonna be much more about the life that she and I have outside of rap than inside of rap.
Oh.
She didn't even really want to be with me because I was an artist. That was a very tough thing for her to even deal with because she's a very private person and likes to kind of be in the background. And dealing with me automatically puts her out there in front of people. And I have to say she's done an amazing job of dealing with it, you know, because it's not her natural space that she wants to be in.
Saying that, I'm going to relate this back to the music, you being with her. Is there ever a point in time where you all have a conversation and it's how much longer you going to do this music thing?
I'm telling her that.
What's that conversation?
Like, I'm not sure how much longer I want to do this.
Are you tired? You've done it all? There's no more for you to
No,
acquire
not
this?
at all, not at all. There's always room for innovation. There's always room for me being introspective about my life, giving things to people that I know they could use, right? Because I get a lot of help from a lot of people who speak into my life and inspire me on a daily basis. And I'm trying to be that for other people as well because I know people look for that. But at the same time, this is not as fun for me as it used to be.
Is it because you're older?
No, it's because Pimp's gone.
Okay.
So now I have to find different fulfillment, right? Because the fulfillment of the UGK prior to Pimp's passing away was about where we were going together, where we had come from and where we were going together. And then the realization throughout my solo career that, like, the first album was kind of Until He Came Home, then the second one was kind of about him passing away and dealing with that. All of my solo music has been out of circumstance, never because I wanted to be a solo artist, right? So now this is a very new place, right? It's a very new time in my life. I'm not really even sure where we go from here, and that's okay because a lot of people find themselves in that place. But because of the fact that I'm not scared to find out, right? That's the message that I want to let people know. I don't know where life is going from here. I didn't know I was going to be writing for Vice last year. I didn't know I was going to be teaching at Rice University. I didn't know where any of that stuff was going to go, but I was always open to it, and I had somebody.
It looked very well executed, Bun. Let me tell you, because everybody now calls you the ambassador of hip hop in this city. You've become the ambassador. When they need somebody to speak on hip hop with authority, you're the go-to. People call me, hey man, you know how to get in contact with Bun?
All that started was because Chameleon, I won't say Cooper, but it's two Coopers, I don't want to get confused.
Yeah.
A lot of that was because Chameleon there wasn't available.
Shut up, Bun.
Hey, tell him. Like literally the first, like the MSNBC, a lot of this stuff was Chameleon there was the first person they wanted to call. He wasn't available. KJ called me and be like, hey, can you do this? They wanted Coop. He can't be, not you. I'm trying to say, not you. Hey, can you do this? And I'd be like, sure. And then it just became an opportunity. Rice University was because Chameleon was supposed to be the interview that day. Couldn't do it. I went and did the interview, got to know Dr. Penn, and ended up teaching at Rice University.
Wow.
Man.
MSNBC, speaking about community affair. Chameleon was supposed to be on Tamron Hall's show. Couldn't do the show. They asked, could I do it? I did it. That led to other interviews and led to Vice Magazine.
Wow. Did the Vice stuff pull you kind of away from the music, thinking that you could want to do the journalism thing?
No, again, my role to people has not always been based on music, right? People look at me for information from a myriad of places now.
Especially now.
Right. So that became part of, it really started as a joke. It was like, would you like to come to New Hampshire and follow the primaries? Follow the Republican primaries on the way to the convention. Like, basically, would you like to be a black man in New Hampshire for 2 days while a bunch of conservatives were in town, right? So it was like, let's see how far out of the water this fish can live, right?
Water,
And so it was very interesting. But then, like, the Trump stuff was very this is February in New Hampshire, and they're talking about building a wall to keep the drugs out. When all the drugs from New Hampshire come from French Canadian gangs, right? Right? But they're talking about keeping Mexicans out from a border way down in Texas because that's affecting their crime and their employment. It was just very odd. And then it became, okay, well, let's put you in more familiar. Because the whole point of me going to New Hampshire was that no one would know who I was.
Yeah.
I would not be walking around New Hampshire, but oh man, it's Bun B. Like, no, one person, and he was a reporter from Texas. That's the only reason. That's the only person that knew who I was in New Hampshire. So then it was like, okay, well, let's do it different. Let's take you to South Carolina, where everybody's going to know who you are, and then try it like that. And then that's when it got real. Like, that's when it got very real, because South Carolina, and we weren't in Charleston and Charlotte and all that. No, we were in these very deep pockets because that's where Trump would normally go. And so, yeah, going into these places would feel very awkward. Coming out would feel very unsafe. But there was something happening. Like, I'm glad I stayed further than the first one because there was something happening, and I realized that I was in a very unique space, that nobody from my space had ever really had this kind of access. And I just wanted to come out and tell it like I saw it. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a reporter, right? So I'm not finna write that piece. I'm just kind of a fly on the wall in a lot of rooms that no one else gets to be in. So I'm really trying to write about not just the person on the stage, but how the people in the room are reacting.
And that's
to
why I asked you about. I've asked about the music, Bun, because now that you become the quote unquote ambassador, doors. Like you said, you didn't know where you wake up in the morning. You're not sure where this door is going to lead you, and the door has led you to becoming this unsaid ambassador that everybody calls you. So does that change? And so does that change? Even wanting to do the music now, because once those doors open, it was something that when you walked through the door, you're like, oh, I didn't even know this was really here. This is nice.
And
I like
again,
this.
you have to understand.
So is that a part of killing the desire for music? Because now that those doors have swung open, possibilities have opened up in total different places that had never opened up before.
Yeah, I mean, look, those opportunities, what people have to realize, those opportunities are always still based around the music. This is why Jay-Z still periodically has to drop an album. It's to keep those corporate relationships intact, right? Because those relationships are built on how you touch the base, how you touch the demographic that they want to sell to. And that is based on the music. That's how they get the numbers to prove that you still connect to a demographic.
Okay.
So in order to move into those corporate worlds,
there's still almost like an obligation to drop that music so your core can
just to show your relevance to the base, right? That's what it's about. Just to show, okay, people still like this guy. It's worth investing our money in this person.
All right, it's business.
And I want people to invest in me, like, financially. But then on the other side of it, just being real, I don't really see nobody as cold as me. So I just feel obligated to go out there and just be
hold on, stop
like,
right there. We was listening to, what was it, One Day You Here, One Day You Go. Bun always had to prove that he was the hardest rapper on every track.
That's the only reason I rap.
But you know what? Sometimes the guy who it's like, you know what? You work harder on every track, and then like a pimp could come on and say some of the most everyday things, and he might get the accolades for the track. But if you go back and study the Bun, you got to go back and study the Bun B track. Okay, let me get my pen. Oh, that wordplay. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Very little about what you say, very much about how you say it.
Yeah.
Pimp C was personification of that. He didn't have to do all of that. He didn't have to do all of that. And then I pretty much had taken care of all of that by the time he got to the song. And the funny thing is, my wife will tell you, outside the studio, the dynamic switches. Outside of the studio, Chad is the outspoken one that takes the lead in the initiative, and I'm in the background very quietly. So it's just kind of like, rap-wise, I'm like, whoop, 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 and then people like, yeah, what he said. You know what I'm saying? And it's a line under that. And then in the business room, it's pimp, blah, 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 walk out. Well, guys, I guess this is where we are. You know, so whenever y'all figure this out, give us a call.
Bun, on this new album, are you gonna do any features?
Okay, so let's stop there, right? Because we're talking about a new album. The album's next year.
So
this is going to be so Game Time is released just to let y'all know y'all can't touch me.
Oh yeah.
I just threw Game Time out there just to let people know I'm still colder than y'all. Like, I just be chilling with my grandbaby, but don't get it twisted. Like, I'm still that dude, and that's a year and a half old.
So that's rap stuff right there.
2.5 years ago, I said, okay, let me do a song so they know I can still rap. And Game Time was that song, and then in the course
Was
of that, I
somebody
ended up
questioning
starting
your
doing-
skills or something? Why you had to let them know that you still the one?
I don't think anybody was questioning.
Or did
my
you just wake
skills.
up in the morning just in case you forgot?
I felt good about music. I felt like there's a couple of dudes out here that could really rap really good, man. But then they probably think they cooler than me though. So, and that was the point of writing that. And then that led into making more music and trying to create a body of music that I felt really represented where I was in life.
Okay.
And then in the midst of recording the album, life really hit. And then I really started going through some things. And then it's kind of like, okay, this is where we thought the album was going, but we didn't know we was going here times 10.
Do you already have a name for the album or anything like that? Or we just going to have to wait till next year? And we'll
Yeah,
find
it's
out?
calm. I'm not going to tell you. Though.
Okay, all right. I'll be there.
It'll be painfully obvious in a minute. And I'm sure as I do more and more interviews, I'll probably give it away. But it's going to be, it'll be very easy to see. And it's going to be very easy to, but in the meantime,
This is just a warm-up.
we
Just
do
hit the track.
have, but we do have a project coming.
Okay.
So we drop an extended play, an EP, and that's going to, we're trying to get it August 29th, the day before Bun B Day.
Okay.
So that's going to be, I'm sorry, what is she saying behind my back?
I think she had to insert something in there.
I'm just ready.
She co-signed.
Oh, okay.
Co-signed what you saying. She was like, that's number one. She's making sure that you hit all the
Okay.
important information.
Yeah.
She's like, everything else you've been talking about in this interview is cool. It was really important that you mentioned that 29th date.
You know
on.
why?
And
Yeah,
Bun B.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know why? Because she's executive producer of the EP.
That you're right. This is business. So
Man.
For her, because she's going to end up making more off of this than I do. I'm just the one that has to go in the studio and rap all of the names. Yeah, I'm going to cuss on this radio talk about this stuff. Y'all going to bleep something in a minute.
So the 29th, we don't, and there's no name for that. Is there a name for that?
Yeah, extended play.
That's going to be the name of it?
Yeah.
Extended play.
EP.
Because that's what EP stands for. Most people don't know.
Aha.
And you just gonna call it, okay, all right, I'm
I ain't got to make up no. People be having, you ever go to a movie that looked like Suicide Squad? Everything about that told you that was gonna be a good movie because it looked like it had a great name. No, man, it's gotta have great music. Damn the name. Don't care what you call it. That's why we just call it extended. Don't care about what you call it. It's about what it's about. This thing's serious.
all right,
All my music right now is very serious. That's why we have to be careful because if I put all, like I said, Game Time is a year and a half. If I put out the music we did like last month and like 2 weeks ago, folks ain't really not in a position to handle that right now.
so we got to work up to it.
If put it like this, if Hope had not dropped 444, it'd be a lot harder to really understand where I'm going right now.
Okay, all right.
Because like a lot of us are really on some maturity right now and just being honest about the life we live. You can't actually move forward without being honest about where you are. And a lot of us are really, really trying to move forward because it may look like we are, but for some of us we're stuck in a rut, right? We're doing the same thing, making the same money, but then life changes, responsibilities change, and what you used to do doesn't work all the way. Yeah, it might make that little money, but then it doesn't fit your family plans. The execution, the people you execute, all these different things come into play. I remember talking to Jay 2 years ago. I was like, yo, when I start working on this project, I'm going to need something from you. He's like, I'm trying to find time to finish my project because life keep getting in the way. And I didn't realize the extent of what he meant by that until I started getting deep into my project and life got in the way. That's why it took so long for a song that I did a year and a half ago to come out now. Because if I'd have been trying to put music out at the same time I'm dealing with everything that I'm dealing with in my life, my life and the music would have fallen apart. So you got to sometimes just take time for yourself and get yourself right. And that's what I had to do.
Well, we're gonna stop. This is gonna be part 1 of this interview. Part 2 to come soon.
In part 3, in part 4.
See,
Can I just ask one question?
Yes.
Now, but there's a lot of hip hop bio movies coming out. If anybody came to you and said, "Hey, I want to do UGK," what would your thoughts be on that?
I'm sure that already happened.
We're controlling that ourselves. So there's no need for anyone to come and
So,
do that.
but you're interested in doing something like that, possibly?
Well, it's not even about interest. We're actively considering it, but it's not like we're pursuing people for it because nobody's going to write this story better than I can write it. And nobody can tell the story of two boys growing up in Port Arthur better than Boomtown, who grew up in Port Arthur with us. So if I'm going to do that, then that's going to be the base collective that we do it with anyway. I don't see any reason to go out and try to find somebody who has to come to Port Arthur and ask somebody about everything about me and Chad when Boomtown was right there and grew up with me and Chad and made music. Like Mr. Boomtown, the video director, was one of the first musicians and first rappers in Port Arthur. And Chad was in his group. Chad was the youngest person in his group. So there's been a lifelong connection. And then when Boomtown stopped doing music and went to college and played football, then he injured himself, so he ended up taking film classes, became a video director, and then we started letting him do videos for us. And now he's a feature film director.
Totally didn't know that.
You know what I'm saying? And so those paths, right, have been going the whole way. So it's like it's only right that if I'm going to try to do this, then this would be the person I would try to do it with.
Sense. But all right, this is gonna be part one. When you get ready to drop the EP, the extended play, we'll
be back,
yeah,
because it's going to be Bun B week. So it'll be, Bun B Day is August 30th. That's a Wednesday. So we'll drop this on Tuesday, August 29th. And I'm going to be busy on Bun B Day, so I'm going to have to come and talk to you probably that Tuesday.
I appreciate you telling me beforehand.
Yeah.
That was nice of you.
Yeah. we got a lot of things. You know, we're approaching everything different. You know what I'm saying? And it's very, you know, I talk a good game, right? I get up here and say everything right that needs to be said, right? And then you can go home and negate all of that in real life action.
You're right.
It's very easy to do that. So for me, I'm trying to practice what I preach out loud.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that everybody can see it. And then also show people that when you mess up, it's okay to say you messed up. When you're not living right, it's okay to say you're not living
Put
right.
an asterisk by Bun B name. He might be here that week. He may not be.
I'll be there that day, just not that day.
All right, tell him the name of the new single so we can go ahead and get this on.
Game time.
Game time. Let's do it.